Big names in retail out with earnings. Let's go to Kayla Tausche with the numbers. Kayla.
Thanks, Tyler. The retail sector is getting a 1-2 punch today, starting with the Redbook Retail Sales Index this morning, showing sales up 4.7% for the most recent week ended August 13th. Month to date, August is 0.6% better than July, benefiting from some tax-free sales weekends. Early back-to-school shopping, you can see that's not helping the S&P Retail Index much today. It has come off of its highs since midday. But also, we have retailers tallying up Q2 numbers. Let's start with Home Depot, beating the street by 3 cents. Shares up 4% today, also increasing forecasts for the year as it's cutting costs to meet lagging consumer demand, as they're not really spending that much as they do home makeovers and renovations. And that's a stark difference from its competitor Lowe's that said its forecast for the year would actually be decreased. Let's move on to Saks, where a good chunk of its sales come from that flagship Fifth Avenue store. The loss for Saks narrowed in the second quarter of the year, but you can see investors are not really feeling good about that stock, down about 4.6%. Worries persist that the high-income consumer will have her nerves rattled by recent turmoil in the market. That fear, of course, dragging shares down. But it's not just the high-end consumer, it's also the lower-end consumer. Wal-mart beating the street by a penny for the quarter, but warning that the pockets of those lower-income consumers in the U.S. are being pinched. Now, Walmart's domestic margins could hurt from that as well. Pressure continues on sales at U.S. stores open at least a year. It has now lost 2 key e-commerce executives, and it's fighting for foot traffic, as we've been mentioning today, with those dollar stores. So, Tyler, you can see shares of Walmart up today about 3.5% relative to the overall market, but you can bet those investors are going to be holding Walmart accountable to its promises on growth. Back over to you.
Kayla, thank you very much. Joining us now with her take on the world's largest retailer's results, as well as a look ahead to its competitor Target, is Stacey Widlitz, an independent retail analyst and consultant, and she is also a CNBC contributor. Stacey, welcome back. Good to have you again.
Thanks, Tyler.
Walmart's numbers were pretty good, and I was blown away by the fact that I think their revenues were $108 billion in the quarter, something like that. It's an amazing number. But this is a stock that, next to Intel and Microsoft, sort of makes a threefer there. They haven't done anything in 10 years. What does that company need to do to get the stock moving up from the 50s?
Sure. So, Ray, this stock has done nothing in 5 years. And really the issue right now is Walmart is losing its cachet as a price leader. So they're coming out and telling consumers that they're returning everyday low pricing, that, you know, they offer the best value here. But consumers really aren't convinced quite yet. And they're looking elsewhere. They're looking in the dollar stores and other options here. And, you know, in general, it's an issue where the consumer is stressed. The middle to lower income consumer, you know, all the data points they gave us on the conference call today point to, you know, just their weak customer.
Is what they're doing enough to juice the stock? In other words, we're going back to low prices. I mean, it is the place. The dollar stores are cheaper on item to item on many things, but you don't get the price selection at the dollar stores. Would they be better served by saying, we're going to give you low prices and come here for everything you could ever want to buy, from groceries to guns?
Right. Well, I think that's...
Guns and butter. How about that?
What a combination. I think that's really the strategy. So the word they used is they will be relentless on you know, the pricing gap going into the second half of this year. So that raises the question, what do we see in terms of gross margin in the second half of the year in retail? Are you going to see a very promotional environment where everybody's just fighting each other for market share? And Walmart has done this before. They do this every year during holiday. They come out and tell us, you know, what SKUs they're going to beat the rest of the world on.
What's your price target here? I mean, do you see it moving at any point? You don't sound like you're really enthusiastic about the stock, is my point. Do you buy it or don't you?
I mean, I wouldn't buy it. Certainly it has a decent yield on it, but I think right now, you know, we're looking at 9 consecutive quarters of comps down. We're not really hearing anything too encouraging about the consumer. Yes, the trajectory at Walmart in terms of the quarter got a little bit better, but, you know, whether they'll be flat, slightly negative doesn't excite me.
Let's move on to Target. What do you think there? What are you looking for there? What would you like to hear them say? Would you buy Target?
Well, I think, you know, Target has already told told us what their same-store sales are for the quarter, so there won't be any huge surprises tomorrow. And actually, the last 2 months they reported same-store sales, they were better than expected. Some of the things that they're doing, they're rolling out their pre-fresh concept. So basically, that's fresh produce, meats, bakery, and that's having an impact. What they're trying to do is give the consumer a reason to come into their store several times a week for all their needs, similar to what the Walmart consumer is. So maybe they're stealing a little bit of share there.
But would you buy that stock either?
If you want to play the discounter space, I would look more at Target than Walmart. But I think, again, that middle income to low income consumer is just going to remain stressed. And there are probably other better places in retail to look.
Like where? Where would you pick?
Well, I think you want to look at retailers that are offering really differentiated products. So that's an Abercrombie. I mean, the stores are still packed. International growth, the prices are significantly higher there. It's helping margins. They're using a little bit of discounting in the States to keep that market share and gain actually a little bit more during back to school. That's working. I think Limited is interesting, also differentiated product there. And I think lastly, as you're hearing some of the high-end retailers say, oh, okay, wait, we're concerned about second half of the year, there's going to be a lot of extra inventory out there, so TJX and Ross stores gets that flow down.
Oh, I love that.
Stacey, your TJX, yeah. Stacey, I can't even go into the Abercrombies because it's so dark. I can't read the labels, apart from the fact that the models have abdominals that make me feel self-conscious.
I know.
They're not wearing clothes.
It's depressing, but,
All right, Stacey, thanks very much. We'll have you back soon.